Yup, we're back again to talk about this little thing. This is the Ultrahuman Ring Air. And I've been using this ring for over a year now, so I thought it might be a good idea to circle back and talk about what I like about it over the past year, what I don't like so much, and what's changed with this little tiny thing. I've been wearing this ring kind of on and off over the past year because I've been testing out other smart rings like the Oura Ring here, but for the most part, I felt myself gravitating back to the Ultrahuman Ring Air, basically because I like the platform, the app on my phone, and the form factor, in my opinion, is one of the most comfortable on the market, although that's up to interpretation. And just to remind you, if you haven't seen my initial in-depth review of the Ultrahuman Ring Air, I'll link it down below or up here somewhere. That's where I go through every little feature on the Ultrahuman Ring Air and talk about it in great detail. In this video, we're sort of gonna glaze over all of the details and talk about just my long-term experience with it and focus on that instead. So if you wanna learn all about it, check out that video. If you wanna learn about what it's been like for the past year, watch this one, or watch both. Before we get into my experience with this thing, let's talk about how the market has changed over the past year since the Ultrahuman Ring Air was released about a year ago. Now, we all know the Oura Ring has been around for a while, but there's been more and more competition in the smart ring space that's been popping up left and right. For example, the Samsung Galaxy Ring came out in the past year. You've got the Amazfit Helio Ring that came out in the past year, the new RingConn Gen 2, the Lunar Ring, and even more no-name brands popping up on Amazon and Alibaba and wherever else. There are a lot of smart rings out there, but in my opinion, I still think the Ultrahuman Ring Air holds its own even a year later with all these other options. Okay, first topic I want to talk about in this video is availability and colors. Now, if you watched my full review of this ring, I had a couple of complaints about availability because at that time, a year ago, this ring was actually pretty hard to get a hold of. However, that's all changed in this past year. In fact, Ultrahuman has built an entirely new factory here in the USA just to keep up with supply and demand on this ring. So now if you head over to the Ultrahuman website or even Amazon, you can get an Ultrahuman Ring Air like overnight or with 2-day shipping. It's pretty quick. So that's no longer an issue. Now, the second topic is colors. Again, at the time of filming this video, this was the only color available, and this is like the matte black, matte gray color. And again, that has also changed. You've got this matte gray color, there's a glossy black color, there's a glossy silver, and a glossy gold. And the nice thing about the colors with the Ultrahuman is that there's no additional price for certain colors. Now, if you look at the Oura Ring, if you choose like rose gold or matte black, you end up paying like $100 more for the Oura Ring. That is not the case with the Ultrahuman Ring Air, which I really do appreciate. And now that we've talked about colors and availability, let's talk about the subscription for a second, because that is another important detail of the Ultrahuman Ring Air. When this product launched and there was no subscription required to use this ring, I was super excited, but also a little bit concerned that down the road, they might roll out a subscription. However, I am happy to report that it is still not the case. There is no subscription required with the Ultrahuman Ring Air, even though that the popularity has increased, they're still deciding to go subscription free. And now that we're on the topic of money and pricing and all of that and subscriptions, let's talk about the actual price of the ring itself. Well, today in late 2024, the Ultrahuman Ring Air is still retailing for $349. But the important thing to know is that right now, Ultrahuman has a Black Friday deal and a Cyber Monday deal. If you do want that deal, Ultrahuman did provide me with a link and a discount code that I'll drop down below if you do want to use it. Keep in mind, this video is not sponsored. They're not paying me to make this video. If you decide to use it, I do get a small commission, but that's sort of what happens here on YouTube. So full transparency there. Okay, next topic in this video is going to be the ecosystem. Now, at the time of launch with the Ultrahuman Ring Air, it was kind of their only product. Like, they did have some other products, but like, I think they had a smart scale or something like that, but it wasn't like a fleshed out ecosystem. Now, late 2024, they've added a couple of things to their platform to make it more of a multi-device ecosystem. So not only do they have the Ultrahuman Ring Air, they also have the M1 platform, which I have made a video about in the past. I'll link that up here or down below. And the M1 platform is actually a real-time continuous glucose monitor to monitor your glucose and give you feedback on your health and diet and exercise. It's actually pretty interesting. And the cool thing about the M1 platform and the Ring Air is that both of these devices pair to the same app on your phone. Next topic, durability after a year of use. Now, I'm gonna zoom in my camera here so you can get a better look at it, but this is the same Ultrahuman Ring Air I used a year ago and I made a video about it. And as you can see, it's in relatively good condition. I mean, around the edges here, there is some brassing like through the black finish. I don't know if you can see that. I'll get even closer. But yeah, there's some brassing on the edges just from, typical wear and tear. And to be honest, I wasn't very gentle on this ring. And this is the matte gray color, which I would assume would show scratches a lot more than something like the silver color. Now, if we compare the durability of this ring to my Oura Ring Gen 3, which is on the left here, you can see the Oura Ring actually does have some pretty nasty scratches in it right about here. I think my Ultrahuman Ring even got more use than the Oura Ring, so it's kind of surprising that it held up so well. In terms of durability, your mileage will vary. If you are like a car mechanic or something like that, it's gonna look a lot worse than mine, but I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with durability. Moving right along to the next topic, and that's going to be battery life. And to talk about that, I've got my charging cradle here. Now, if you missed my initial review, this is the charger they give you in the box. It's like a little post with a USB Type-C connection on the side here. And it's very similar to what you get with like an Oura Ring. One thing I do wish they would make as an accessory is like a battery case for this ring. Like if you've seen the Samsung Galaxy Ring or even the RingConn Gen 2, both of those rings come in a little case, and inside that case is a additional battery so you can charge your ring when you're out and about and throw it in your backpack or something like that. With this, you pretty much just have to leave it on your nightstand. Now on the topic of battery life, that's an interesting area. So the Ultrahuman Ring Air on their spec sheet claims 6 days of use on a single charge. However, if you watch my original review video on this ring, you'll know that I wasn't getting that full 6 days on a single charge. It was always like 4, sometimes 5 days on a stretch on a charge. I never really got to that 6 days. And I don't know if that's something to do with the size of my ring, like maybe the bigger rings have a bigger battery. I have a size 8 here, but yeah, I just never got that full amount of battery. A year later though, there has been a noticeable amount of battery degradation on the Ultrahuman Ring Air. That is to be expected, so don't be totally alarmed. So if you don't know what battery degradation is, basically every electronic device out there that has a battery in it will degrade over time. That could be your laptop, that could be your cell phone, but most importantly, small electronics suffer from this way more than big electronics. Things like earbuds, things like smart rings, anything that's tiny and has a tiny little battery in it will degrade more than a larger battery and be more noticeable. And that's no different here with the Ultrahuman Ring Air. Initially, I said I was getting like 4 to 5 days on a single charge. Now, a year later, it's pretty much like 4 days, like 3 to 4 days, 4 days consistently, just not that full 5 days I was seeing a year ago. So yeah, the battery has degraded a bit, but really it's not a huge deal. Typically, I throw my ring on the charger in the morning while I'm taking a shower or something like that. And by the time I get out and I'm all ready for the day, it's good to go and I don't have to worry about it. All right, now that we've talked about the hardware and the pricing and all that fun stuff, let's talk about the app, because the app experience has changed significantly since the Ultrahuman Ring Air came out a year ago, and it's gotten a lot better. To be honest, when the Ultrahuman Ring Air first launched, the app experience felt a little bit like a straight up copy of the Oura Ring app. Like the Oura app and the Ultrahuman Ring app, like holding them side by side, they looked very similar, but a year later now, a bunch of updates have come to the software and the app experience that make it feel a lot more unique. So for the purpose of this video, just because I can't name every little detail that's changed in the Ultrahuman app, I'm just gonna walk through the whole app experience and give you a look of what it looks like now in late 2024. So as you can see at the top of the screen here, we do have a sleep index, and I believe the way they display all this is new. Like back in the day, they just gave you a number. Now there's sort of this gauge up top here, and they give you a little blurb about your sleep from the previous night. You are primed for an energy boost day. And then down below, you can see it shows when I went to bed at 9:41 p.m. And those numbers seem very accurate. I had a alarm set for 6:30 on my 8 sleep bed that actually vibrates the bed. Review on that soon. And I did roll around and snooze the alarm a couple of times, so 6:49 seems pretty accurate. Down below, I've got my total sleep duration and I've got my sleep cycles there. And if I do want more detail about my sleep, I can simply tap on this widget and dive into way more detail here. It gives you everything from your sleep efficiency, your skin temperature, your restfulness, your consistency, total sleep, heart rate drop, timing, restoration time, and more. all of your sleep stages here and a sleep stage graph down below. You've got a movement index to see how much you moved throughout the night. You've got your resting heart rate through the night and your heart rate zones, and your HRV down below here. Scrolling down further, we've got tosses and turning during sleep. That's kind of interesting. And of course, with all this information, you can scroll to previous days and previous months to see how your sleep trends have changed over time. Going back to the dashboard here, if we scroll down, there's another new metric here called sleep debt. And this is pretty interesting. This is something kind of copied from the Whoop platform. If you know what the Whoop band is, they have a very similar metric, and sleep debt is exactly what it sounds like. It's trying to let you know how much sleep you need to get on the next night of sleep to make up that debt from the previous day. Scrolling down to the next tile here, we've got dynamic recovery. And this is again, another new widget that's popped up over the past year and something I really appreciate. This sort of mimics Apple's Vitals app where it shows you some of your vitals and it'll alert you if anything's off. For example, you can see my resting heart rate there, it has a little green check mark, we're good there. My HRV is good, check mark. But my skin temperature has a little yellow icon kind of alerting me that something is up. I do have a cold and that's why my HRV is so low right now, and I've had a cold for like 2 weeks. It's a real pain. I've got 4 kids. That might explain it. But as you can see, it shows my resting heart rate, my skin temperature was a little elevated last night by about ½ degree, not a big deal, but everything else was in range. Below dynamic recovery, we've got another tile for neutral impact of light and activity. And if I click in on that, it's sort of a visual representation of my circadian rhythm. Scrolling down further, we do have a quick start tile here, and this will allow you to start a breathe work exercise or a workout. Scrolling down further in the homepage here, we've got my heart rate throughout the day. I've got my cardio age, that's sort of an estimation on my fitness level. I've got my HRV, my resting heart rate, and an estimated VO2 max based on recent activities. The estimated VO2 max here is a new metric that rolled out a couple of months ago, and I gotta say this is the one area where it seems a little bit off. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but a VO2 max of 42 in my fitness level feels very low. Like I've been lab tested at 55. My Garmin watch tells me I'm at 54. The Amazfit T-Rex 3 here has me at 52. The Coros watches I use have me at 55. So they're all agreeing in that like 53 to 55 range, where Ultrahuman has me at 42. That does seem a bit low. Scrolling down further, there is a new area in the app called power plugs. And these are sort of like add-ins or plugins for the Ultrahuman app to do more things. So as an example, there's a screen time power plug, and this will remind you when it's time to take a break from your phone. There's a vitamin D power plug that will remind you to go outside and get some sunlight for vitamin D. There's circadian alignment. There's a caffeine window. There's pregnancy insights if you're a pregnant woman, and cycle tracking, again, for women's health. Scrolling down further, there are additional power plugs here that are made by third-party developers. There's a cardio adaptability plugin and AFib detection. Now, these are an added expense. Like if you want AFib detection from this third-party developer, that's gonna cost you $4.90 USD per month. And then down the bottom here, we do have a coming soon section for additional power plugs or add-ins coming down the road for jet lag, weight loss, cycle and ovulation, and a smart alarm. Back to the dashboard though, let's scroll down again and look at our timeline here. So the timeline is a really cool feature, and it shows all of the events throughout the day. So this will be what time you woke up, anytime you've exercised, and anytime you went to bed, or all of that other stuff. And it's all gonna be laid out in a timeline here. You can also add to this manually. So if I click the plus button here, I can add a workout, breath work, food, activity, stress, etc. If I just wanna log that and remind myself of what I did throughout the day. So that's the Ultrahuman app in a nutshell. And of course, there are other tabs down here for other things you can do. For example, if I go to metabolism, this is the M1 platform I talked about before, where you can monitor your blood glucose levels. And then if we jump over to the Discover tab here, they've got a whole bunch of built-in exercises and things you can do to increase your sleep and activity throughout the day, which is kind of cool. So where does that leave us with the Ultrahuman Ring Air a year later? After using this ring for a year, is it the best on the market? Is it the worst on the market? I don't know, it's hard to say. They're all so good now. All I can say is I find myself reaching for the Ultrahuman Ring Air more often than a lot of the other smart rings I have. I've got the Amazfit Helio, the RingConn, the Oura Ring obviously, and a few others. And for whatever reason, I just really like the app experience and mostly the comfort level of the ring itself and wearing it every day. What could be better with this ring? Well, again, I do wish they made a battery case and not this little post thing. There are a couple of other things, like the estimated VO2 max does seem oddly low, and some of the metrics like the overall sleep score can feel a little bit generous on certain days. Like sometimes the sleep score will tell me I've got like a 90 out of 100 when I woke up feeling sick or had a sore throat or something like that. And that always doesn't add up with my other devices like body battery on my Garmin, for example. But generally, most of the data does seem pretty accurate. And that brings us to the question, who is the Ultrahuman Ring Air for? I think if you are looking at the Oura Ring and you're looking at the price tag of like upwards of $500 if you want the matte gray finish or gold finish, and you don't like the idea of the subscription, $70 a year to keep using the ring, or you're looking at something like the Whoop Band, that's $30 a month forever. This is a really solid option with no subscription. And I hope they don't change that. I don't think they will change that because it's a big part of their marketing. But for no subscription, having so many features, and most importantly, seeing so many updates in the app and so much development with no subscription. So I guess I'd put it like this. If you are in the market for a smart ring and you're looking at the Oura Ring and don't love the price, definitely check out the Ultrahuman Ring Air because it's one of my faves. I really enjoy this thing. I like the app. The experience has been overall pretty good over the past year. Of course, there are other options out there. Check out the RingConn, check out the Amazfit Helio. They all have their pros and cons. All I can say is I really enjoy my time with the Ultrahuman Ring Air. But I'm just some guy on YouTube, and now's the point of the video where I do want to hear from you in the comments down below. Drop into the comments. Let me know if you have an Ultrahuman Ring Air, if you have an Oura Ring, a RingConn, a Luna Ring, a Samsung Galaxy Ring, what did I miss? The Amazfit Helio Ring. Let me know if you have any of those rings, how they've been working out for you, if you enjoy the insides. If you don't even open the app, you forget to charge it. Let me know all those things in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And after you're done commenting down below, of course, check out the links in the description down below where you can head over to the Ultrahuman website or Amazon and pick up your Ultrahuman Ring Air and currently get 20% off using the discount code I'll have posted down below. And of course, I'll have links to all these other rings down there as well. Those are affiliate links and they do help support this channel, but they cost nothing extra to you. And after you're done shopping, also check out the links to my other social media accounts, my Strava, my Threads, my Instagram, my podcast, and of course, my merch store where you can pick up a sweet hat like that. Do it. And that's it. We've made it to the end of this video, and I am shocked that I still have a voice because I tell you what, for the past couple of days, I've been a raspy mess and I survived. I made it. All right, friends, I gotta go now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.